So, good morning once again to all. And today we will continue with our last lesson, that is life process, which we were doing. And in our last class, we discussed what are life processes, and we have also discussed about that examples of the life processes. Then what are the different life processes which in this chapter we are going to study. And then we started with nutrition. Nutrition, we discussed about the autotropic nutrition, that just a moment. We discussed about the autotropic nutrition, and we have also discussed that what is autotropic nutrition, who are the autotrophs, and we have also discussed the process of the photosynthesis. And then we were today to discuss the mechanism of photosynthesis. But before going into the mechanism of the photosynthesis, let me ask few questions from our last class, so that I will have an idea that you all have grasped the last class what we have did. Now students, can anyone tell me what are the raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis? What are the raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis? Through the chat box. Okay, for this I will just raise your hand so that I will also unmute you. Quickly raise your hand so that I will unmute you. What are the raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis? Okay. So, Soumya Shri, unmute yourself. I have given you the option to unmute. Soumya, raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis?
Sunlight.
Okay.
Sunlight, water.
Okay, good. More?
Carbon dioxide, chlorophyll.
Very good. Yes, you can mute yourself. Yes, very good and correctly said that the four raw materials which are required for the process of photosynthesis are sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, and water. Now, before going into the event of the photosynthesis, one more question from this very topic. What is the source of this raw material? If you are saying about the water, what is the source of water? For this, I'm Riya Bharti, unmute yourself. What is the source of water which is used as a raw material for the process of photosynthesis?
Sir, soil.
Okay, soil water, correct. Okay, now next, Tanvi. Tanvi, unmute yourself for my next question.
Yes, sir.
Tanvi, what is the source of the raw material carbon dioxide? From where we get?
Sir,
Sir,
air.
We are saying about carbon dioxide. What is the source of this carbon dioxide which is used as a raw material during the process of photosynthesis? I think then
Sir, yes. Human beings.
Source of the carbon dioxide, that is the atmosphere. Yes, you are saying human being. I have understood why you are saying human being, because we give out CO2 and that CO2 is added in the atmosphere. So we will be directly telling the source, that is the atmosphere. Okay. Okay. Now Ayush saying, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Ayush, what is the source of the sunlight?
Yes, sir.
What is the source of the sun? Yes, very correct. Sun. That is the nature. Sun. Yes, correct. And now the last part, Muskan. Muskan, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Muskan, what is the source of the chlorophyll which is used as a raw material for the process of photosynthesis?
Sir, leaves.
Leaves, green leaves. Very correct. It's the green leaves. Correct. That is the source for the chlorophyll. Now, students, once again, let me go to the equation. Yes. In this equation, student, you are clearly saying that 6 CO2 and 12 molecules of water are being utilized, or we can say these are the raw materials in presence of the chlorophyll, the sunlight. They are preparing the food, which is the glucose, and in this product and in this reaction, O2 is liberated as a byproduct. Okay, so this we did in our last class also, and now we are going forward. Yes. Yes. First of all, I will discuss the, yes, students, as I already told you that during the process of the photosynthesis, whenever we are about to discuss the mechanism of photosynthesis, we have to discuss 3 basic steps of the photosynthesis, and these are very, very important. What are these 3 steps in the process of the photosynthesis? The first step is absorption of the light energy by chlorophyll. This you can very well see in the figure also, which is present along with this write-up part. Here in this image, you can see that sunlight is being captured by the chlorophyll pigment. The chlorophyll is present in the leaves of the plant. And so the first basic event in the process of the photosynthesis is the absorption of the light energy by the chlorophyll. So the first step is absorption. The second step is how this light energy, and we will be saying that light energy need to be converted into chemical energy. So why we are saying the light energy is converted to chemical energy? Can anyone recall? As because we have done the equation of the photosynthesis also. Why we are saying the light energy is converted to chemical energy? How we are knowing this? The light energy is converted to chemical energy. How we are knowing the light energy is converted into chemical energy? Yes, anyone? You can raise your hand also, or through the chat box, you give the reply. Through the chat box, you give the reply. Through the chat box, you give the reply. Okay. The ultimate product, yes, correct. The ultimate product, just a moment. The ultimate product of the photosynthesis, that is the glucose, is a chemical. Definitely we are saying the light energy is being utilized to prepare a chemical, and hence we are saying that now the prepared energy is stored in the form of the chemical. And here in the second step, splitting up of the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And in the next step, we have the reduction of CO2 to carbohydrate. That is, the CO2, carbon dioxide, is converted into carbohydrate. Now, student, from the very first chapter, chemical reaction, we have we come to, or we know that what is reduction. Can anyone here once again recall or rediscuss with us what is reduction? We have discussed in the last class. For this, I am okay. Who knows? Raise your hand. Who wants to participate? Raise your hand quickly so that I can unmute you. Among the participant, anyone to whom I can unmute you? Okay. Through the chat box, you can give me the reply. Okay, fine. Okay. Yes. Correct. Very good. Gain of hydrogen, loss of oxygen is the reduction. Very good. Good, Priyanshu, Roshan. Then Arushi also, correct. The process of losing of the oxygen and gaining of hydrogen. Then Tanvi also have given the correct answer. Reduction is the process of the loss of oxygen and gain of hydrogen. Muskan, yes, very good, correct. So here you can see, once again, we are moving back to the photosynthetic chemical equation, where you can easily see that how we are seeing reduction has occurred. Now see here clearly, CO2 is being converted into C6H12O6. So you can very well see that in this reaction, hydrogen is being added. Okay, hydrogen is being added. And hence we can say this here, the reduction of CO2 to glucose or the carbohydrate has taken place. Okay, so remember student, these three steps of the mechanism of the photosynthesis is very important, as because in the board examination it is asked also as a direct question that what are the steps involved, or what are the three steps involved in the process of the photosynthesis. Okay, just a moment. Now after this student, we will be discussing the cross section of a leaf. Okay, cross section means, suppose any material, suppose if suppose I am showing you, if this is any material, okay, and if we are cutting like this the material, then it will be saying the cross sectional view. So the cross sectional view of the leaf as seen under the microscope shows that some cell contain the green dots. Now these green dots, definitely they are the cell organelles, which is a chloroplast, and it contains chlorophyll. Okay, chlorophyll. In class 9 also you all have studied the plastid. Plastid is a cell organelle. How many type of plastid you have studied in class 9, students? How many types of plastids you have studied in the chapter cell in class 9? Through the chat box, you give me the reply. Okay, Ayush. Ayush, you are saying 3 types. Actually, it is 2 types, chromoplast and leucoplast. Chromoplast is a colorful, and leucoplast is a colorless. When in the chromoplast, the chlorophyll pigment is present, that type of chromoplast is called chloroplast. Okay, leuco, and one form of the chromoplast is chloroplast, which is green in color. Very good, well said. Now, all of you look to this image of the leaf. All of you look to this image of the leaf. Here, this is a leaf, and the cross section of the leaf is being done. The cross section of the leaf is done. Now, here, at this point, at the microscopic level or at the cellular level, at higher degree of magnification, what you can observe. So let us discuss this. This very image you will see in the cross-sectional view of a leaf. What you can see, the most important part, students, you all have done the chapter tissue in class 9. If we are making a cross section of a leaf, what is the name of the uppermost protective layer? If anyone know, raise your hand so that I can unmute you. What is the name of the uppermost layer? Just raise your hand so that I can unmute you. No need to now for this question to reply through the chat box. I'd like to interact with you all. Okay, just a moment. Okay, Ayush. Ayush, you can unmute yourself. Ayush, you can unmute.
Yes,
What
sir.
is the name of the uppermost layer, Ayush?
Sir, epidermis.
Very good. It is the epidermis. Can you tell me, Ayush, what is the function of epidermis?
Sir, to protect the
Very good.
leaf.
Protection is the main function of the epidermis. Well said, Ayush. Now you can mute yourself. Okay. Here in this diagram, you can see the most upper layer, that is the upper epidermis. The epidermis is also present on the lower side of the leaf. But in the lower side of the leaf, one more structure is present along with the epidermis, and that is the guard cell. This is very, very important structure. Later on, I will be showing you the diagram of the guard cell, though I'm drawing here also. The guard cell looks like this. It is a dumbbell shaped, okay? It is dumbbell shaped like this. The guard cells are there. And this is the stomata. This hole is the stomata, or the opening through which water loss occur in the form of the water vapor, which is called transpiration. Clear? And these two are the guard cell. So it is present here in this diagram in the lower epidermis, and the process of the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the leaves of the plant through the stomata is called transpiration. And what is the significance of this transpiration? It definitely produces a cooling effect. Students in class 9, you have done the water cycle also. In that water cycle, you must have studied that during the process of the transpiration, when the water is lost in the form of the water vapor, that water vapor is added to the atmosphere, and it is one of the process which is helping in compensating the water lost. It definitely take part in the water cycle. So here you can see the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis in the cross-section view of the leaf. When you are seeing in the lower epidermis the guard cell, these are the structure through which transpiration will occur. Then below the epidermis, you are seeing these chloroplasts, which are the site of photosynthesis. The gap between the chloroplast, air spaces are present between the gap. And on the upper epidermis, there is a layer called waxy cuticle. This layer makes the epidermis impervious to water. What does this mean? Impervious to water means that the water loss will not occur. That means it protects from the water loss. Waxy cuticle. Now, is the cross-sectional view of the leaf is clear to all the students? Cross-sectional view of the leaf is clear to all the students? Through the chat box, you give me the reply. Cross-sectional view of the leaf is clear to each and every students. Through the chat box, you give me the reply. Okay, fine. Yes, I got the reply. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Now, students, as just now we have discussed also the transpiration. Okay. Now here, these two diagrams are again very, very important. Why? Because the guard cells are given and open stomata and the closed stomata is also highlighted. Student, just now I discussed with you all what will happen if the stomata is open. What will happen if the stomata is open? Just raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Yes, Ria. Okay, Ria, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Ria, what will happen if the stomata is open?
So the gases will exchange.
The gaseous exchange will occur. Okay, fine. Okay, Arushi. Okay, through the chat box, Arushi, you can give me the reply. That is which mechanism will take place through stomata? Through the chat box, you can give me the reply. Okay, correct. Many students have replied. Which mechanism? Yes, Arushi, it is mechanism. Okay. Transpiration. Okay. Yes, Romita, correct. Okay. Okay, fine. Transpiration. So definitely the gaseous section occur in the leaf through the stomata for photosynthesis. It occurs across the surface of the stem, root, and leaves. During this, much water is also lost through stomata. So plant closes stomata when it does not need CO2. The opening and the closing of the stomatal pore is regulated by the guard cell. When the water flows, guard cells swell and the pore open. If the guard cells shrink, the pore closes. Student, can you tell me at what time of the 24-hour duration the stomata will open and when the stomata will be closed? At what time during the day? For this, okay, I am unmuting Romita. Romita, when will the stomata open? At what time of the? Yes, Romita.
Mid-noon.
Oh, yes, correct. When the sunlight is there. And at what time the stomata will automatically get closed?
Sunset.
Sunset. That means when the sunlight won't be available. That is why students, this practical is also there in our syllabus. Whenever we do this practical in the rainy season, we get the sunken stomata. That means the stomata is not fully open. And whenever during this month, like in the month of May or June initial, when we are doing this practical, that time we are getting the stomata fully open. So during the daytime, when the bright sunlight is there, excessive loss of the water takes place through the stomata and transpiration rate is high. On the other hand, when the sunset, or we can say when the sunlight is not available in good quantity, the stomata get closed. Once again, students, one significance of the transpiration we have discussed, that is the cooling effect. But one more significance of the transpiration is there. For that, I have to go ahead in this chapter to show you one image to get that significance of the transpiration more clear to you all. Let me open that. And we will go again back to our, but I require this diagram to make this mechanism clear. Students, I think you can remember the name xylem and phloem in the chapter tissue. Xylem, yes or no? Yes. Students, here in this diagram, you see only the tree part, okay? The tree part you have to see because we will not be discussing the human one. Why I'm linking here? Because the second significance of the transpiration need to be clarified from here also. You are saying, student, through the roots, the water is being continuously absorbed and the water loss is occurring from the leaves. Now, the absorption of the water is a continuous process. So a signal go back to the root for absorbing more water. And due to this transpiration, what happens? See, I'm writing also a suction pressure develops in the plant. What is this suction pressure? The suction pressure is the pressure of pulling the water from the root to the leaves. That means if continuously the water is absorbed from the root through the leaves going into the atmosphere, so a signal goes back to the root to keep on absorbing more and more water. And this suction pull results due to which mechanism? Can you tell me, student, this suction pull results due to which mechanism? Yes, correct, transpiration. So this is the another significance of the transpiration. Hope all of you have got it. All of you have got it, yes or no? through the chat box. You give me the reply, and I'm coming back to my previous topic slide that we were discussing, that is nutrition in the plants, definitely. Okay. Yes. So remember, student, this question is very, very important. That is, what is transpiration? What is its significance? Okay. And now, students, we will be coming to the next topic, that is the heterotropic nutrition. Before going into the topic of the heterotropic, before going to this topic of heterotropic, can anyone, okay, I will randomly select from the student list now, because till now you are knowing this. We have discussed a number of times. Yes, Priyanshu, unmute yourself, Priyanshu. Priyanshu, unmute
Yes, sir.
yourself. Priyanshu, what is heterotropic nutrition?
So, sir, the nutrition which the organism which depends on the green plants for their food or nutrition.
Very good. That means depend upon other living organism for their food. Okay. Now, heterotropic nutrition also are of 3 types. Okay. For example, the first one, which you can see in the slide also, parasitism. That is a parasitic nutrition. Student, you know about ticks, the lice in our hairs. So if suppose the lice is in our head, and what does the lice take from our head? What does the lice take from our head? Through the chat box, you can give me the reply. The lice which is present in our head, what is sucks? Correct, very good. The blood. It sucks the blood. Now, yes. So parasitic nutrition is a type of the nutrition in which the organism take food from the organism, but without killing it. For example, you can see in this image also that the insect which is there on the skin, they are taking the blood, but they are not killing the host. For example, if the lice stay in our head and consuming the blood, we are the host for the lice. This type of the nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. It is also heterotropic nutrition. For example, when Priyanshu, you have said heterotropic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which the organism depend upon green plant. Whenever you are defining heterotropic nutrition, no need to say here the green plant, because separate category is there. You have to say depend upon other living organism. Okay, so it is proved in the parasitic nutrition that here the organism depends upon another organism for their food without killing them. The second type of heterotropic nutrition is the sacrotropic nutrition. You all know that is some organism break down food outside the body and absorb, that is a fungi. They feed on the dead and the decaying product also. So this is a sacrotropic nutrition. And the most important one is the holozoic nutrition. What is a holozoic nutrition? It is a nutrition in which the organism takes in the food and breaks the food inside the body, like the animals, the humans. We are taking the solid food material and then we are breaking them for absorption, for assimilation, that is getting the energy from the food into the body of the organism. So is it clear to all the 3 types of heterotropic nutrition? The parasitic, the sacrotropic, and the holozoic. Is it clear to all the students? The type of nutrition? Now, students, whenever we are discussing the heterotropic nutrition, we have to discuss one very important component, and that is the nutrition in amoeba. This is very, very important. Nutrition in the amoeba. Amoeba, students, is a unicellular organism. Now, see what happens during the process of the nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba this organism, the food capturing process take place through pseudopodia. What is pseudopodia? These are the false feet. Pseudopodia, the word means false feet. Whenever amoeba sees any food particle near it, it extends its pseudopodia. It extends its pseudopodia to engulf the food particle. And when it engulfs the food particles are kept inside the food vacuole. And what is present inside the food vacuole? Digestive enzymes. They digest the food and undigested material is given out of the body. Remember, student, nutrition in amoeba is similar to like that of the nutrition in the human also, because the process of taking in the food is called ingestion. The process of breaking the food is called digestion. The process of absorbing the food, the digested food, is called absorption. Then we are getting the energy from the food is the assimilation. Like that also, the amoeba, whenever sees the food particle, it takes in the food particle, extend its pseudopodia, then take the food within the food vacuole. Then the digestive enzymes, with the help of the digestive enzyme, it breaks the food particle and then it absorbs the, or we can say the nutrition from it to get the energy. So this is the process of the nutrition in case of the amoeba. Is it clear to all the students? Yes, students. So at the end of today's class, today up to the nutrition in the amoeba we will be doing. So at end, I would like to interact with you all what you have learned today. Can any of the student, you can recall the steps of the photosynthesis in plants? Anyone? What are the different 3 steps of the photosynthesis in plant? What are the different steps of the photosynthesis in plant? Okay, Tanvi raised her hand. Okay, Tanvi, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Tanvi, go ahead.
Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll.
Correct. Then
Conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen.
very good. The last step.
Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates.
Very good. Well said, Tanvi, the 3 steps. Now, any of you, can you discuss with me or what we have done now, the nutrition process in amoeba? Anyone, nutrition process in amoeba? You can see in the diagram, it is also elaborated over here, this diagram. So you can see the diagram and you can also discuss. Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Okay, Ayush. Okay. Ayush, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Ayush, go ahead with the nutrition in amoeba.
Sir, amoeba develops its false feet that is known as pseudopodia to engulf the food material or the bacteria.
Very good. And when it
And
captures
it
the food,
engulfs it
yes.
in the food vacuole of amoeba.
Okay. And what happens in the food vacuole?
In the food vacuoles, the food is broken down into simpler ones and
Very
diffused
good.
into
Digested.
cytoplasm.
Yes. Very good. Well said, Ayush. Very good. Okay, Ayush. You can mute yourself. Very good, Ayush. Okay. At the end, students, today's assignment for you all is you will practice the diagram of the cross-sectional view of the leaf and also the nutrition in amoeba. Okay.